how much time do you spend on optimizing your product pages? Usually the answers that I get are either absolutely nothing or a whole lot of time. Today we want to talk about 3 simple tips that you can do in under 5 minutes to improve your product pages. Let's get right into it. My name is Chris Milton and I run UltraClick, which is a hybrid agency and app development company that focuses on developing for Shopify store owners just like you. So in today's video, we want to talk about how to make your product pages better. And by better, it typically means a couple of things. The first is that your product comes across as very clear. The second is that there's a connection that you make with the customers who are looking at it. And the third is that it converts better. And so to do those things, we want to assume a couple of things to make these tips work. One is that you have all of your product specs shown on the product page already. You have a thorough description that is already there, and you've got a great photo and or multiple photos and a video, which is something we'll cover in a different video in terms of how much depth and content and creativity you can put into those. Today, we're going to talk about those quick tips. The first is utilizing the Shopify code to break up a long product description into multiple tabs. By using the H6 tag in the code of your product description, it will automatically create a tab. This allows you to have more depth and more information that's readily available just by scrolling a little bit down the page instead of having to scroll past paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of content. Now, this H6 tag is something that works well and with most themes, but we have seen a couple of themes where that has been changed. So what I would do is I would do a test page, see if your theme is responding to the native coding that is within Shopify. If not, reach out to the developers of your theme and see if it's in their documentation or if they need to point you in the right direction to make it work. The second tip is utilize on your website the blog section. The blog section of Shopify is completely underutilized. Unlike the biggest competitor out there for website CMS in general, which is WordPress, that being based on blogs and WooCommerce kind of taking a second seat, Shopify leads with e-commerce, but the blogs are often ignored. Even the additional pages on Shopify are typically ignored. So start writing different blog posts that show how your product solves different problems. This could be a mix of product reviews and testimonials that are coming from your clients, or it could be a specific use case that the product was intended for, just explained a little bit more in depth. Within one of those tabs that you have on your product page, you can actually look at it and say further reading or more reviews or testimonials about this product. Ways that customers can lead more into understanding the product. Look for FAQs, look for different information that is available for them to understand why they should buy. This also works in the opposite way. If someone lands on your blog post, it's another way for you to have almost a secondary product page because it's just talking about your product. So from there, you actually have a big boost for your SEO. You've got a keyword-rich blog post that talks about your product and the situation that someone's in, or you have the actual product page itself. So when someone reads the blog post and they want to come back to your product page and buy, you win. If they look at the product page and they are kind of on the fence and they see that there's more information and they can read that blog post that relates to them, then they can come back and buy. And so this little cycle is something that most product pages miss out on because it's just too much work for a lot of people to write 200, 300, 500 words about the product. And so I would put that into your schedule. That is going to take more than 5 minutes, and it is not a product page, but it's certainly a big perk to have on your website. And the third is being able to implement having reviews and testimonials as part of your website. Now, this is not something that will happen overnight necessarily, but it is something that will change the game in terms of how your product pages perform. Utilizing some of the apps that are out there, there are so many different apps that some have reviews that are tied to referrals, some that have reviews that are tied to different product specs, that I encourage you to go and really look at the one that is going to be the best suited for you. There's probably a top 3 in my mind that we consistently use for some of our stores, but that's based on the size of the stores, the inventories that they have, as well as the volume of reviews. Take those reviews and be able to put them into your follow-up sequence on your emails to incentivize more people and remind them to leave product reviews about their experience and how they're using the product. So that's it. Take 5 minutes, and it should be something you can do across the board. Of course, installing the review platform is going to be something that happens and automatically works across all of your product pages immediately. But the other two, there's something that's more individualized. Going through your product pages, adding those H6 tags and creating tabs is going to make the shopping experience a lot more enjoyable. And start working on adding additional content and making sure any additional content you have, even if it's not on your site, if someone did a review of your product, is linked within your product page so that people have no reason not to buy from you. All right, that's today's video. Get out there and sell more with your store. I'll see you in the next one.